He has unified 10 global HR functions across 5 countries. Mr. Rahul Gupta.
We are okay to pay that cost because we need vendors who are reliable and who have a fair market practice.
You redesigned global recognition with an AI-enabled solution, improving user experience and delivering $9 million in cash flow impact and $800,000 in tax billing savings.
So the governance around all of this, I think, is the key. So from my perspective, ESG is more about making sure that you and your colleagues and your larger stakeholders are compliant to what they are doing.
Good evening and welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute World Council of Directors. I'm your host Tanay All, and today we are entering a world where process becomes product, governance becomes discipline, and HR operates as the entire enterprise operating system. Our guest this evening is a global transformation leader who has spent over 15 years designing and scaling HR shared services and centers of excellence across complex multinational environments. IBM, Maersk, Kyndryl. He has unified 10 global HR functions across 5 countries, integrated $400 million in vendor spend, replaced 36 fragmented procurement tools with a single platform, and delivered multi-million dollar efficiencies through automation, AI, and digital innovation. Mr. Rahul Gupta, Global HR Operations and Transformation Leader. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you doing?
Thank you so much, Tanay. Thank you for having me. I'm doing very well. How are you doing?
Lovely, sir. Looking forward to this interview.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for the wonderful introduction, by the way.
My pleasure, sir. So, as we could read, your professional journey spans over 15 years, but we're sure every title and milestone has a story behind it. So, to start with, to help our listeners understand who is the person behind, this big portfolio? Like, could you please take us back to the beginning and share your journey in your own words? Perhaps a few defining moments that shaped your path and experiences that brought you to where you are today.
Oh, you've asked a very loaded question, Tanay, right in the morning. All right. So, the person behind this journey is a very simple man. I come from a very humble background. I come from a place called Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh. I come from a business family, so I understand how business works. Studied MBA in UPS itself, and then got a job from while I was studying there from the campus. Uh, the journey began when I was doing my graduation, and then I realized that how do I pay my bills on my own? Why not? Why go to my parents and get that? And that's where the journey began, where I started doing my own. A small business to just to earn few bucks to make sure that my fees is done, I can live alone, and so on and so forth. That inculcated a lot of confidence, to that gave me that confidence that yes, I can do it, right? I can definitely make it big. And then I got to the MBA and then got picked up in this corporate world. It has been 15 plus years since then. Very, very interesting journey when it comes to how corporate has developed me from years. From being a gully boy, from there to becoming a person, sitting in the boardroom, is a very, very enlightening journey, so to say. So I started again very small when I started my job. I started as a recruiter. I was doing business operations. I was also managing cabs for the night shift. From there, doing payroll transformation, doing onboarding, employee records, a lot of tool implementations like Workday, APROS, SAPs. From there, moving on to Maersk, doing a large scale transformation to establish HR services as a shop, to moving to Kyndryl, where again there was a new setup, to be done. Handled teams of sizes of 20 to 30 people, and as of now I feel that the kind of portfolio I've handled, uh, with all humility and humbleness, I feel it's a great journey since then.
100%, sir. It is with the number of with the numbers you've managed and the transformation you've seen. It is an insane journey, and like you said, from UP to spreading out to the entire world. I mean, it would be a lovely journey.
Right.
Sir, you redesigned global recognition with an AI-enabled solution, improving user experience and delivering $9 million in cash flow impact and $800,000 in tax billing savings. What design principles made this succeed where programs often become ceremonial?
Right, very, very interesting. So, the fundamental belief what I have, and when I start working, is the simplest is the best. We don't get into complicated structures, and we put in models. And there are so many books out there. There's so much material out there. But what I believe is that as you should keep it simple. The more simplistic it is more comprehensible by your own people, right? You may be able to do a lot of studies, but not everybody does. And that's the same principle we applied here when we did this transformation as well. Okay, so think about it. What do you want your employees to have when they log on to a recognition program? Simplicity, right? They should be able to search things, they should be able to have fun with it, they should be able to order things on their capacity, maybe vouchers, maybe stuff. So put this together in one small thing. Who can give this to us? What is missing in the current format, and how can we enhance that? Now with AI, it has become even more easy. What AI has given people is the enablement which they were not able to do. Just for facts, when I speak to a lot of people earlier, when we did not have these chat engines, people were not able to recognize each other because they were very hesitant in writing English. Can you beat that? When you talk to somebody in English, in India, they are very difficult in their head to write a recognition mail or a message to somebody on their sorts. So AI has solved this. We made sure that that is incorporated in the new tool, and it made a lot of difference. So now this is the emotional part of it where employees are having fun. Now there comes a business part of it which we need to take care of as leaders, right? What we saw is that we've deployed this in 63 different countries. Each country has a different tax structure. Each country has a different way of invoicing and GST structures, or VAT structures, so to call it. We did a modeling to say how do we pay our vendors to make sure that we are not paying anything extra beyond on what we need to pay, from withholding taxes perspective, from VAT perspectives. And we were able to save around $800,000 approximately per year. It's an estimate, of course, based on what the actual spend will be. And then what we did, the negotiations we did with the vendors helped us to the cash flow. Instead of paying in advance, we are now paying, let's say, when the services are taken. So I think that was an incredible journey all throughout on how this modeling was done, how the money was saved, and I'm hoping that in the next 3-4 years we'll be able to save a lot of money for the company.
Yeah, and with technology improving day by day, there is so much you can now do in terms of, saving up and going down a new path.
Right, absolutely.
So your self-service cost estimation tool automated 98% of scenarios, moved TAT from 48 hours to real time, achieved 100% accuracy, and saved $400,000 annually. How do you convert a local spreadsheet innovation into a scalable enterprise product?
Again, I will come back to simplicity again. So what is the fundamental? Who is your customer? What do we need? What does the customer need from you? Customer needs an end result which is readable, right? What's the point of having a race of humans who could do a better job, a enhanced job, make them do a copy paste job every day, right? So that was the concept we applied and said, okay, let's look at the 20 steps or the 40 steps or the 60 steps my team is deploying each day to develop an Excel sheet. Okay, and how many of these 60 steps can be converted into a formal automated process, right? And we found out that apart from consulting on the final product, everything could have been automated. We did that, right? It was a self-service tool. You click 11 buttons, you select 11 parameters, click on a button, and your estimate is already in front of you, which took my team to do a day, then a QC guy who's looking at all the screenshots and making sure everything is fine, then converting it into a PDF, delivering it. We removed all that slack. Uh, every employee in my team was then a consultant on that Excel sheet because he was saving time on not doing that manual task. We deployed a tool. It was a self-service tool, and we became advisors to that. And every profile in the in my team got enhanced. So it was a very very interesting journey. Now, because we did not need a lot of people, we did not need a lot of licenses. We collectively saved so much of money for the company as well.
True, and like you said, simplicity in solving problems. That never changes.
Right.
So ESG is moving from report to run book, like beyond diversity metrics. Where can HR be the force multiplier? Vendor selection, mobility, learning recognition, and how would you operationalize that?
Right. So ESG is it's a concept I think we can't ignore now. Right. It has been in place for a very long time, and now it has been recognized, and I think it has become a boardroom, conversation. Beyond conversation, I would say that it has become a mandate. From a HR standpoint, like from my company standpoint, I think we are focused on three different parameters, or I think most of them are focused on three different parameters: environment, social, and governance. Environmentally, how, so when I choose a vendor, for example, I look at how environment friendly they are, or how energy efficient they are, or do they have their own goals when it comes to ESG? What is their practice of e-waste, and so on and so forth. From a social perspective, diversity, equity, inclusion, these are non-negotiables now. I mean, you can't say that you don't have all of these in your in your organization. And so as to governance as well. Now, when you deploy a structure, you need governance around it to make sure that that structure continues to run, because it's it's a very, how do I put it, you can deploy a process, but if you don't govern it, or don't if you don't continuously monitor it, it just dies down. So the governance around all of this, I think, is the key. So from my perspective, ESG is more about making sure that you and your colleagues and your larger stakeholders are compliant to what they are doing, not because you want to tick a tick mark in your checklist, but it actually makes a difference out there.
It does, definitely. And that's why everyone, like you said, in the boardrooms today, it's become that bigger discussion because people are realizing the kind of change it can get.
Right, 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 right.
Okay, so now time for a very own rapid fire round. A few quick
Okay.
questions, and we request you for some quick answers. So, are we ready?
Sure. Yeah, yeah, of course.
Perfect.
Interesting.
Your go-to comfort food after a stressful day.
Oh my God. Chola kulcha. Nothing beats it.
Lovely. One guilty pleasure TV show or movie you secretly love.
Uh, Very interesting. Suits. I don't know if you've watched it. The
Yeah,
first
yeah.
season. It's very interesting.
A song that always lifts your mood no matter what.
Uh, Ashaएं. There is a song
Yeah.
in Iqbal. Yes.
One word your friends would use to describe you.
Brilliant. Reliable.
If you could have dinner with any historical figure, who would it be?
Not historical, but I just want to have a dinner or a conversation with Mr. Warren Buffet. He's my go-to person, but I don't know if I'll be able to meet him.
A travel destination that's on your bucket list right now.
My bedroom.
Lovely. What's more relaxing for you? A quiet evening at home or an adventurous weekend getaway?
Always home. No adventure.
A fictional character you relate to the most?
X-Men. I love the professor.
Yeah, Mr. Charles Xavier.
Yes.
Describe your ideal Sunday in 3 words.
Brilliant. My bed, the sleep, and my son. I mean, I do some activities with my son. That's it.
Lovely, sir. Great. That was a rapid fire round. Thank you so much for being so rapid. Now, now coming back to the slightly more serious questions.
Sure.
So we've seen cases of vendor fraud, which is fake invoices, double billing, even scammers impersonating vendors to change payment details. Then there's procurement fraud, which is fake tenders, collusion among bidders, or even shell companies created just to siphon funds. What are the most important steps organizations must take to detect and prevent these frauds, and how do you ensure governance becomes a living practice that teams genuinely follow, even under pressure and tight deadlines?
Right. So it's a known problem, industry wide problem, and with so much of digitalization and AI coming in place, it has even become difficult for. It's both sides. It's easier to catch it, and it is easier to do it as well. So, I personally, in the current role which I have, I handled around 800 vendors. As you said, it is around a 400 million portfolio of payments, and it's very difficult to make sure that every single payment we are making is right. As you said, governance, that's the key, right? So we start from engaging with vendors who have high credibility. When I say high credibility, the credibility comes with a cost, of course, but we are okay to pay that cost because we need vendors who are reliable and who have a fair market practice, right? So we start from there, make sure that the contracts are airtight from both perspectives. We make sure they have financial stability in their organization with their books. Legally, they are okay, and it goes through a very exhaustive scrutiny process when we hire or when we engage a vendor. Then comes the operational part of it, where we deploy on the daily basis how to do it. We try and make airtight processes in terms of invoice validations. How can you pay it? When you're writing the commercials in the contract, how detailed are they so that there is no scope of having a gray area where somebody can do something. So from that perspective, what we have come up with is that how can we write the commercials which can be translated into invoices, which can be translated into AI and can be checked. So that governance around that makes it easy for us to catch intentional and non-intentional mistakes as well, honestly, right? And from there is a review mechanism with the vendors, and this, we call it scorecards, we call it their reviews, quarterly reviews, monthly reviews with them, to understand where are we heading. Now, what we take very seriously is any kind of complaints which we receive from anywhere. You know, if we have received anything from somewhere, we make sure that we investigate that, because uh, as we say, if there is a smoke, there is a fire. No, so I think that's how we have been able to manage this. I won't say it is still everything is brilliant, but I think it is the best as far as we can get.
Yeah, very rightly said. I think the point which you said about the fire, that if you go searching, there is a problem, there is a root cause, and if you don't look for it and just clear the smoke, the fire will rise again.
Right.
Yeah. So, we would love to know what inspired you to join Directors Institute, and how has this experience shaped your perspective on modern governance and leadership?
Interesting. I'll be honest. I won't give you a LinkedIn answer. So I said, I was searching for somebody who can help me get into places where I can really make a difference. I'm not saying that I'm not doing it right now, but you need to keep elevating yourselves. Director Institute came across to me, was referred by someone, and said that what they can do for you is to give you a platform. As very rightly people say, right, when you ask God for you being courageous, they can only give you a situation to be courageous, they can't give you courage. That's what Director Institute gave to me, saying that okay, they can give me a platform to go perform, and if I'm able to perform, then it's a step up for me to go find what I love to do.
Great, sir. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your remarkable journey. From building HR service centers across continents and unifying complex vendor ecosystems to leading transformative programs that blend technology, governance, and human experience, your insights have been truly invaluable. And what stood out today is how you approach transformation not just as a technical process but as a living system, one where policies turn into daily habits and you start looking at the simpler problems that can be solved and hence create bigger value to a system. So thank you so much for that, and I'm sure our viewers learned a lot from today's session.
Thank you so much, Tana, and thanks for having me.
Most welcome, sir. To our listeners, I hope this conversation offered you both strategic takeaways and practical inspiration to strengthen your own leadership journey, no matter which industry you belong to. This has been FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute World Council of Directors, and I'm Taneol. And until next time, keep learning, keep growing, lead with purpose, and of course, have fun in your journey. Thank you so much.